Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you are new to my channel, welcome. This video is going to be specifically on transitioning from using a traditional box cutter knife, replaceable, just throwaway blade, and moving into the knife hobby. This specific video is going to be about a very utilitarian oriented blade shape. Let's go ahead and open these guys. So as you can see, the general shape is going to be very reminiscent of a box cutter. And what's great about that is that even though these blade shapes do look a little funky and the design overall may be very foreign to you, there are so many elements with all these different brands. All these are coming from different manufacturers. I believe all of them are also from overseas, from like China. Pretty sure. Except for this one. This one's from Taiwan. Yeah, anyway. But what's so great about this blade shape is it has all the benefits of a regular box cutter knife, but it has this certain level of solidity to using it versus a throwaway blade. I do understand that within the workplace there are some safety concerns and constraints that are put in place by your employer where you can't carry something like this, but if for sure you are able to carry your own personal knife for work use, whether you're in retail, grocery, warehouse, construction, very specific things like being a mechanic, things like that. As most of you know, tools do get expensive and they can be very expensive, and price goes up depending on the brand and where it's made and the following and the history behind it. Knives are very similar, but at least for the ones that I pulled from my collection today to show you, these are all the ones that have stayed in my collection because I value what's being offered by this company. I haven't gotten rid of them, I haven't sold them, I don't plan to get rid of them because I love these knives. If I didn't feel like I was getting the most amount of value and use out of them, I would have gotten rid of them already and you guys would not be seeing them. So, I guess we could start off with this one. And going back into price, there are a lot of enthusiast elements that bring about premium blade material. That just means that it's gonna be a lot more durable, wear resistant, rust resistant, things like that. Premium handle materials like carbon fiber. This isn't just regular carbon fiber, this is more boutique styled where it's, I believe this was raindrop carbon fiber. There's marble, there's shred, there's ones that have different colors, there's some that glow in the dark, all these types of cool things. Titanium, all this back, this whole frame lock and everything is titanium, including the pocket clip. It's pretty sweet. It is also on ball bearings, which is super awesome. So it just makes it a lot easier to open and close, and it's very, very smooth. This guy currently, I got it from Caviso Outdoors and it was $100. But for this same exact knife from the brand QSP, you can get it for like $35. That's the cheapest one. Of course, with that, you get different handle materials and lesser blade material. But still, if you're scared about spending a lot of money into a hobby that you're not too familiar with and it's still quite foreign to you, pick up something like this. This shape is just very simple. There's nothing too fancy about it, and it just works. It really does. So take a look at that, guys, when you got a chance. This next one is much, much larger, but still quite useful within the workplace. It is literally a giant freaking box cutter, a giant utility knife. Like, it's, look at that. And you actually get more usable blade length out of it. This one also has a titanium pocket clip and is running on ball bearings. It comes in multiple different handle materials, so you don't have to get this type of color. This is just the color I chose, but there's black and micarta and carbon fiber, and there's even like stainless steel and brass and I believe titanium, and all these different kinds of really cool handle materials that you can upgrade to. But this one I believe was like 76 bucks, and I got this one from bladehq.com. This other one is a recent new 2020 model from the brand Civivi, and also manufactured overseas. And this one is the first knife that has a little bit of curve to it, so things may slip out as you're cutting, but even still it's extremely thin and it's going to slice the material rather well. Also on this table, this is the first knife that is utilizing a fidget factor oriented, but also keeping safety in mind. This button lock back here is just a little button on the scale that when you press it, it allows for the blade to collapse and without your fingers in the way, versus a liner lock knife where you actually have to put your thumb, essentially in harm's way, and then, close it. And regardless of who you are, I'm sure everybody within the knife hobby, professional, well-seasoned, or a newbie, has bit themselves a couple times. Same thing with a frame lock. You have to get your finger in the way, in the path of the blade to disengage it. With a button lock, you don't, and that's great. With that, you get, amazing action. It has this little fuller in it where you can dig your nail in, and you can flick it out. Also, this one has ball bearings. Nice grippy micarta material, and with the steel liners, it does have weight relief, so this is a very solid feeling knife. And for it to be this free-flowing and fidgety, to still feel extremely rigid, it's an amazing knife. And I have a recent unboxing and first impressions. If you guys can go check that out once you're done with this video, I'd very much appreciate it. This other one is coming from Demco Knives. This is the Demco, apologize. This one, I believe it was like 63 bucks. Oh, no. It was like 73. Yeah, around 75 bucks for this one. It's around there. Should have written down the prices to be exact, but none of these are really crazy except for this last one here. This one over here, the Demco AD 20.5. This is an amazing knife, extremely lightweight, extremely solid, very thin in the hands, great solid pocket clip. And this blade, even though it seems very thin, it moves through material rather well. There is a whole lot of handle in comparison to blade length, so essentially you get a little bit more control. So if you're scared of maybe puncturing a bag of goods that you don't want to, but you want to be able to still have a knife that you can have a little bit more control over, this one will probably be it for you guys. So you can hold it like this and keep your finger up on the top to do a little bit more detailed oriented movements with this knife. This one also has a mechanism designed by Andrew Demco that keeps safety in mind first of all, but also a fidget factor. So it's called the shark lock. It's a spring within there that once you decompress the spring, it moves out from beneath the blade and it allows for it to come down. Your fingers do not have to be in the way to open or disengage the knife, and it is extremely smooth, also on ball bearings. An amazing knife. The blade material on this is OS 10A, and not the best blade material, but it's at least extremely easy to sharpen it. You can basically sharpen it with, the underside of a mug if you really needed to. So you don't have to have a super fancy sharpening kit to maintain this knife, which is, I suppose, a plus side. This last one down here, this is the Spyderco brand Smock. Now this one was a Blade HQ exclusive. Damn, I did it again, I'm sorry. This one is around $145 to $150. I think it's pretty worth it. Like I said earlier in this video, it wouldn't be on the table if I didn't think it was worth it. Here we go with the Smock. So this guy over here has multiple deployment methods. It has this flipper up here, so everything is contained within this shape here. It's like a coffin-ish kind of shape, but extremely smooth on ball bearings. It has this button that does protrude out of the handles, so if that is a concern for you when you're holding this, I myself, I'm not too concerned while using this, because if I'm on the further down grip position, my index finger falls right beneath it and I'm still able to utilize this jimping and do some slashes, but I lose a good bit of control over all this length of blade here. So if I want to creep up on it, I have to rest my index finger on here and the jimping lands right in that spot. So I am able to creep up on it a little bit. My middle finger now rests within this groove, and even then it still is out of the way of the button itself, and I feel like I have a little bit more control. You could also hold it like this, and even then the button is still not able to be, you know, actually engaged, and the blade like accidentally collapses on you. This one is actually $200. This was a Blade HQ exclusive and it is no longer available. Don't bother looking for this on the secondary market because it's now double the cost. Yeah, people out there actually pay twice as much for a knife just because it went out of production. Because there are people who are enthusiast crackheads and enthusiast crackheads. So you don't want to do that. While it is still an amazing blade shape and an amazing knife, just keep a lookout for other variants of this same exact knife. They still do exist. It's not a discontinued model by any means, but I believe the base one of this is like 175, 180. So this would be the least recommended for a new individual getting into the hobby, and all the way up, this is my #1 recommended for individuals getting into the hobby. So do with this information what you will. There are, I know, a handful of very obvious upsides and downsides, pros and cons to, you know, maintaining this, like any one of these knives versus just this. You just take it, you just trash it, you get a new one. There are a good bit of rewarding factors to having this. You get to learn to respect a tool just as any other tool. You're going to use a hammer as a hammer, a nail gun as a nail gun, and a knife as a knife. And with this blade shape, it's just going to allow you to do your job at an even higher quality. And eventually you can start moving into other blade shapes and different fidget factors and opening methods and enthusiast elements that really might catch your attention, and you know, you'll be part of this amazing community that is the EDC, you know, carried knife community. It's really amazing and I love it. I've learned so much from it. I've learned to respect these not as just toys and fidgety things and just something to throw my money away at. I have a lot of people in and around my daily life, personal and at work, that, you know, give me a hard time for spending this kind of money on knives versus just having a utility blade. But when I explain to them the respect and the value and all the work and craftsmanship that goes in, and the designs and things like that go into these types of knives, it piques their interest typically. So go ahead, start looking at a couple different brands. Again, just going down the list is QSP, Concept, Civivi, Demco, and Spyderco. So there are a bajillion other brands to take a look at. So start window shopping and pick up a pocket knife, pick up a real pocket knife. Don't get something from a gas station, and actually take care of it and use it. Use it as a knife. Don't use it as a screwdriver, please. Please don't. Alrighty, you guys take care. Have a wonderful day.